9.5 million for Rashford. I think he's worth going for. Wan-Bissaka, 5.5, not bad. Fernandes, 10.5, cheaper than both Mane, Salah, and De Bruyne. I think that's time, guys. I think that's time. But I've got to call out Greenwood. I mean, he's just had phenomenal price inflation. The guy who started last season at 4.5 is now 7.5. And I think that's just a realisation that he's going to start playing. But I think United get the players in there. My tip is Rashford.
And Greenwood's stepped back to midfield position too, I think, right?
That's correct. He is midfield, yeah. 7.5 though, which, he started playing every game towards the end of the season. Let's hope it continues. But I feel like 7.5 is a lot to put down on a guy who is he
going to... Big rise. It's a big rise in price, isn't it? But he did, to be honest, he did look, as a young prospect, he did look superb, didn't he? Like just the way he hits the ball and always looking to have a go at goal. He's fearless. And
he
I wouldn't be surprised if he'd be one of your top scorers. I would put him, probably scoring more goals than Rashford this year.
Yeah. There's definitely got potential.
I mean, if he plays, and I think he will play, I think he deserves to play, but one thing I wanted to point out is with the signing of Van der Beek, that's a strong thing for our defence. And last season, third highest number of clean sheets, 13 clean sheets from De Gea. I think from a defensive perspective, United are worth a shout. And I would say Williams, if you're looking for a cheap differential, Williams at the back, he's 4.5 million. Might not play every game, but he was starting to play last season. And I like him a lot. I mean, his only competition is Luke Shaw, who, is he going to be there? He's going to be fit? Who knows? But 4.5, worth maybe a bench warmer. Okay, guys, I've clearly gone over there 2 minutes. I just couldn't help myself. On to team number 14. It is Newcastle United. Pellers, I believe you've looked at Newcastle.
Newcastle United. Newcastle, to be honest, they've just brought in Callum Wilson and Fraser here. And, we all know as fantasy managers what they can do on the pitch. Obviously, Fraser was looking to get out of Bournemouth for quite some time now. So he'll be raring to go. He's obviously, he's hurt his reputation a little bit, the way he sort of treated Bournemouth, the fact that he's been there for so long, just pretty much refusing to play almost. So he'll be raring to go. I think he will get off I think he will start in the starting 11 straight away. He's at a good price, only 6 million. And we've seen it the last few seasons. Before Bournemouth's horrible season, we've seen how well he can do. So I think Fraser is just going to pick back up from where he left off in terms of being a good FPL asset. I think Callum Wilson, you can't really look past him. At 6.5 million, he's going to go straight into the team. He's going to be playing up front. He's going to score goals. We've seen what he can do for Bournemouth. The only other one at Newcastle, I think, St. Maximum. He was caught catching the eye of a lot of FPL managers last season. He's only 5.5 million. Definitely worth a shout. He's got a lot of talent, very creative, runs at defenders, and I think he's just going to build on from what he did last season. So they're my 3 picks for Newcastle.
Very nice. I mean, Fraser, 6 million, that is tasty. I might like a little bit of that when I come to do my team. Okay, guys, brilliant. Thank you for that, Ricky. Moving on to number 15, that's Sheffield United. Patrick Vieira, you were in love with them last season and you've looked at them in depth for us. What do you think about Sheffield United? 2 minutes.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was in love with them, but they certainly had a...
you were.
You haven't got a tattoo on your bum as well, have you?
No, Sheffield.
He has.
They ended up a solid mid-table team, and they had a couple of players that are worth looking at again. Obviously, we'll be debating whether Lord Lundstrom will be another pick for people's teams. He sort of fell out of favour towards the end of this last season, not getting as much pitch time, but he still ended up with 144 points at the end of it. Another guy that I like for defence is Stevens. He ended up with 142 points, but he's a good differential if you want someone in the back of your defensive lineup. He is 5.5 million, so he's more a little bit more on the expensive side. But he's one worth a shout. And then another guy that's probably was worth a look is their goalkeeper, Ramsdale, he actually came from Bournemouth, but he hardly played for Bournemouth. He was out on loan, I think, for maybe 2 or 3 seasons, but now he's in the lineup for Sheffield United, and Sheffield United have, always been known to have a pretty solid defence. So, picking defenders from Sheffield United will be, a good. You can't go wrong with, picking up some budget players there. They start out against Leicester, so that'll be it might be a little bit of a tough one to start out against. Then they have Wolves, Aston Villa, Leeds, Arsenal. So they got a mixed bag on their return for this season. But yeah, I think there's if you want defenders, you're good at looking at Sheffield United players.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, mate. With Sheffield United, Ramsdale did play for that's the time as well. But Ramsdale did play last season for Bournemouth. Dean Henderson's gone back to Man United, so definitely worth looking at. Guys, I'm going to move on to Southampton. So 2 minutes. I've looked at Southampton for us, and I think Southampton did ever so well last season. If you all think, you remember when they got beaten, what was it, 8-1 or 9-1 by Leicester, and Southampton are going down. They turned it around, and they came 11th in the end last season, 52 points, -9 on the goal difference, and that's the 9 they let in there. But they scored 51. But the 51 was more than the likes of sort of Burnley, Sheffield United, and the same number of goals as Wolves. So I think Southampton, you've got to be giving them their just dues. They're a decent team. Good start for them as well. So, they have got some relatively favourable fixtures. They've got Palace, Tottenham, Burnley, West Brom. That's their first 4. I think, Danny Wings, he'll be licking his lips at that. Pre-season, they've had one game. They won 7-1, guys. They beat Swindon 7-1. 5 different players on the score sheet. Che Adams opened the scoring. Then Redmond and Bertrand, they both scored. Ings and Ward-Prowse got 2 each. So Ings got 2 and Ward-Prowse got 2. So, they're my call-outs for Southampton. I do think the one thing I've got to touch on, Danny Ings, he's 8.5 million, guys. I mean, he's gone up. He's soared in value. He started last season at 6 million. He's gone up 2.5. So he becomes expensive. So if you're looking at other players, as I said, Ward-Prowse, 2 goals there against Swindon, 6 million, midfielder, good price. Che Adams, for me, 6 million. Started playing very well towards the end of last season. 4 goals, 4 assists. Want a cheap player? Che Adams would be my shout. Is Danny Ings worth it? Not for 8.5. But I didn't say he's worth it last year. Am I wrong?
It's going to be interesting with Danny Wings. I mean, I think he'll carry on doing it. He scored so many goals. He's so unlucky not to get a golden boot. And I think he's just going to build in on that. He's in the England team now. His confidence is going to be soaring. The only thing with Danny Ings is the injury proneness. When he's had a bit of time, in pre-season, he came back firing on all cylinders after the restart as well. So if he's given time, I think the first half of the season, I can see Danny Ings just carrying on.
Okay. You do think he's worth it? I mean, 8.5. He's 28. He's in his heyday, is he?
I do. I think, all right, it's 8.5, but then, look at the other options you do have. At least he's a proven goal scorer, A lot of the other strikers up there, to compare, just a bit hot and cold. I think he's more consistent.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about like Vardy. He was second from Vardy. I mean, Vardy, how much is he this season? He's 10. I mean, he's definitely a cheaper option and definitely as consistent as Vardy. So,
Vardy's 10, mate. So Vardy's 10, and he's only in 17% of teams, whereas Ings is 8.5. He's in 25% of teams. So, I made the mistake last year. I didn't go for Ings. Maybe I need to learn from my mistakes. That said, Captain Russ, we have come to your time. This is your moment. You've got the 1970s retro Spurs shirt on. Take it away, mate.
Right, yeah. Well, Spurs, pre-season friendlies, they haven't been doing too bad. Funny enough, Kane has not been playing because he's in quarantine from his little holiday in the Bahamas. So he's not been playing because of that, which leads me to suspect that, you know, he might start off as he did last season, which was like a bit of a goal drought for a while. So I might be wrong, but so while Harry Kane has been away, Son, he's been the man. He's been putting in the goals. He scored, you know, he scored a couple against Ipswich, which they beat 3-0. They beat Reading 4-1. He got a goal. He got a goal there alongside Lamela and Dele Alli. And he scored against Watford as well. You know, it was a penalty, but I think Son could be the man like this season. He might be in the contenders for a captain as well. You know, he's you know,
he did get 11 goals last season, which wasn't a bad return.
Wasn't bad considering how the performance of Spurs, but I'm not going to go down that road right now. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah. So they've also got a run of pretty comfortable games. They've got Everton, Newcastle, Man United shouldn't be a problem, to be quite honest with you. West Ham, Burnley, Brighton, West Brom. You know, they've got a good run of games. So yeah, and I would definitely consider, even though he's pretty pricey. I think he's 9 million. Am I right?
For Son?
Yeah. He's 9 million. You know, it's pretty expensive, but I think, you know, he's definitely at the forefront of like the team. And a
lot of people like the look of him because he's in 28% of teams and Doherty's in 26% of teams. I think, Spurs, like you said there, with those games, perhaps load up on a few Spurs players up top. Enough Spurs talk anyway. We've got to move on. 3 teams to go, guys. We've got West Bromwich Albion. Captain, you've looked at West Brom. What do you think?
The only thing I know about West Brom, and I don't know much about football, is like in 1979 they had Robinson playing for them. From
it was rugby, mate.
No, he wasn't. Brian Robson. Sorry, Brian Robson.
Oh, Robson. Yeah,
Robbo. He was
he's a Man U player.
No, yeah, but before that he was West Brom, mate. But yeah, West Brom newly up in the Premiership. They've just recently, the results from pre-season, QPR 2-2. They drew with Brighton 0-0. They've just signed Dianga from West Ham, and apparently there's some kind of controversy.
Yeah, controversy on Dianga. What was that about, Pellers? Why?
Yeah, Diangana, basically, he was looking superb in pre-season, came through our academy, looking really sharp, set up a few goals for Halal Hammer. All the West Ham fans getting excited about him because we haven't really signed that many players, but then again, sold him. They sold him obviously against a direct rival because no doubt about it, we're going to be wanting to beat relegation this season. Let's not beat around the bush. So you don't sell your good players to your rivals, right? So that's what's been the big upset for the Hammers fans. Even Mark Noble came out on Twitter saying he's angry to see that Diangana's gone, and I think as much as us West Ham fans, we like to have a bit of a moan sometimes. But I think
there you go, then, Pellers. We've got 7 seconds on West Brom. We'll get to West Ham in a minute.
Well, Callum Robinson was a pretty good player. There possibly might be signing a couple of Watford players. Deeney, right?
Good luck.
Big boys. The big
West Brom are going down. On to number 19, it is West Ham. Fellas, take us away. 2 minutes on your beloved West Ham.
So the Hammers, linking in from West Brom, the Hammers were doing well in pre-season until we sold Diangana, funny enough, and then we go and lose to Bournemouth 5-2. So if that's kind of some omen to tell you, what might be ahead, that might be. We've got a really hard opening set of fixtures. To be honest, other than Newcastle, we've got quite a few tough fixtures ahead. The players that I would look out for, I think Souček is one that's going to be popular amongst FPL managers. He's only 5 million, and he does get up there for set pieces. He gets himself amongst the goals, so I think a lot of people will have him as a cheap midfield option. The other person everyone's going to be looking at, obviously, Antonio. Obviously, just took the world by storm in those last few games, and really saved West Ham from relegation single-handedly. So whether he takes that into this season, we will see. I hope he does. The thing I think people are going to go under the radar is going to be Haller the Hammer. I think he does have the quality. He just needs he needs to really start showing it now. This is going to be his season to really show Hammers fans and the